Want an easy way to add contrast to your menu? Add Sugar Foods crunchy toppings to your salads, burgers, bowls, and more. From crispy onions and crunchy jalapenos to wontons and then some. These toppings could be your new superpower. Check out the full lineup at sugarfoods.com.
A fast-growing, fast casual chain may have a buyer. A couple of big chains are making significant menu cuts, and Cava had a very good 2024. Welcome to Restaurant Daily, a quick look at the industry's top stories from the editors of Nation's Restaurant News and Restaurant Business. I'm RB Managing Editor Heather Lally.
And I'm NRN Senior Food and Beverage Editor Brett Thorne. Dave's Hot Chicken may have a buyer. The fast casual chicken chain is in talks with investment from Roark Capital, according to the Wall Street Journal, which cited unnamed sources. The deal is valued at around $1 billion. Dave's officials declined to comment on the report. Roark has a very large portfolio of restaurant companies, including the multi-brand operations Inspire Brands and Go-To Foods, among others. Roark also owned Wingstop before spinning that off with an IPO in 2015.
Outback Steakhouse plans to cut its menu by nearly 20%. It's part of a sweeping turnaround effort at the steak chain, which continues to see same-store sales declines. Outback plans to refocus on operations and core menu items and will also dramatically slow new unit openings. Instead, it plans to invest in remodeling about half of its existing restaurants. It's part of a broader revamp at parent company Bloomin' Brands under new CEO Mike Spanos.
Speaking of smaller menus, Starbucks is cutting 13 drinks from its lineup. The coffee shop giant will remove a large selection of beverages, including several versions of its Frappuccino platform, as part of a broad strategy to simplify its food and beverage offerings. The company has already cut the olive oil-infused coffee line Oleato, as well as energy drinks. It plans to cut more items from the menu as part of a goal to reduce its offerings by 30%.
Cava had a pretty terrific 2024 with same-store sales up 13.4% for the year and nearly 9% of that from traffic. In the fourth quarter, same-store sales grew 21.2%, including a nearly 16% increase in traffic. This while other limited service chains have struggled to get customers in the door. Cava CEO Brett Schulman said the brand has kept price increases to a minimum, and as a result, consumers see the Mediterranean concept as a safe port in the inflation storm where they can find respite. Expect to see new proteins added to the menu this year, as well as innovations with the popular pita chips. Cava recently relaunched its loyalty program, which has already boosted revenues, and more tweaks to the program are coming down the pike, like tiered status levels and non-food rewards.
Meanwhile, a cautious consumer continues to put pressure on sales at both the Jack in the Box and Del Taco brands. The two quick service brands' parent company released its earnings for the first quarter ended January 19. Lance Tucker, who is the interim principal executive, said headwinds were continuing into the company's second quarter.
DoorDash is set to pay out more than $16.75 million as the result of a legal settlement with New York delivery drivers over owed gratuities. According to New York State Attorney General Letitia James, the third-party delivery company is accused of using tips that are supposed to be supplemental payment for Dashers for their guaranteed pay instead. DoorDash will pay $16.75 million in restitution for their drivers and up to $1 million in settlement administrator costs. New York State also secured back payments for Lyft and Uber drivers in a similar settlement at the end of 2024.
Mark Lohr wants AI to select your meals. The CEO of the delivery food hall company Wonder said he is building a super app for food, allowing users to order from restaurants or grocery stores. But it could also include AI that can choose meals for users based on their history and their likes and dislikes, even if humans are making their meals. To Lohr, that could save people the time and stress involved in having to figure out what to eat. Lohr, who was speaking at the NAFEM Restaurant Equipment Expo in Atlanta this week, said AI chooses about 85% to 90% of his meals.
AI does not choose my meals, and that will do it for today's edition of Restaurant Daily. I'm Heather Lally.
And I am Brett Thorne, also capable of picking his own food. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Restaurant Daily. Rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and subscribe. Want an easy way to add contrast to your menu? Add Sugar Foods crunchy toppings to your salads, burgers, bowls, and more. From crispy onions and crunchy jalapenos to wontons and then some. These toppings could be your new superpower. Check out the full lineup at sugarfoods.com.